Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Eternal Spring. I'm Paul Thurrott, and I am here as always with my wife, Stephanie. Hello.
Hello, everybody.
So, when the Michelin Guide came to Mexico, the big headline we saw everywhere was that one of the restaurants awarded a star was a taco stand in Mexico City. And we assumed that was going to be Los Cocoyos, which is a really famous hole in the wall taco stand in Centro. It's incredible, but it wasn't. Instead, it was a taco stand in a neighborhood we've never visited, that we've never heard of. So obviously we had to check it out. And man, it could not have been more different than the last restaurant we reviewed, Quintonil, which was a fine dining experience in Polanco.
Yeah.
This one's a little different.
Yes, quite a bit different. Um, yeah, this one is Taqueria el Califa de León. It's a small place in the San Rafael neighborhood, which is west of Alameda Central and Centro and north of Reforma. It's a little bit out of the way coming from Roma Norte, but it's easy to get there by bus or metro. Um, it's on a very busy road. It's a divided central artery called Avenida Ribera. Um, and it's across from a small park. The neighborhood is, more gritty and urban, and um, the restaurant on the side, the same area as the restaurant are businesses that are just kind of selling low quality electronics and clothing. Like, you
Yeah.
wouldn't go there you wouldn't have probably many other reasons to be here as a tourist.
No, it's not pretty. You probably wouldn't be here otherwise. It's not unsafe, right? I mean, there are
Mm-mm,
lots of people
no,
around.
no.
And thanks to Michelin, I think there's a lot of tourists around now as well, right?
Yes,
In
yeah.
fact, we planned our visit early in the day specifically to avoid the lunch rush.
Hmm. Right. Yeah. Yeah, it was still busy,
Mhm.
but not as busy as, I've heard people waiting for 2 hours out there, so not that bad. Um, there are a dozen or so people standing outside. We had to kind of figure out how the line works.
Yeah.
They seem to be used to it being unclear. So a woman who works there pointed us to the end of the short line. There were probably about five groups or so in front of us in line, and then another half dozen groups or so either standing and eating or waiting for food that they had ordered to be ready.
Yeah, which is part of the point. There's no seating at all. We spent our time in line kind of getting a lay of the land, you know. Um, Most taco stands have at least little buckets or something, or a
Hmm.
lot of them do. This had nothing. The menu was really small. There were only four types of tacos. Three were beef, tenderloin, rib, and steak, plus a pork chop, a couple of drinks. And oddly, there were only two toppings, right? They just had green and red
Hmm.
salsa and salt. So we ordered one of each so we could share it all. And the way this process kind of worked is that, you got to the front of the line, they called you, and you walk into the back of the place, the indoor part of it, which is basically just the grill, the woman working the tortilla machine, and then the guy in the back taking the payment. So we ordered and paid, and then we waited out front, and they call your name, and then they give you the plates.
Hmm. Yeah. Um, so the food is cooked on a grill, and we noticed that the meat, um, it was all kind of large single-size pieces of meat, like kind of the size of a thin chicken breast or so,
Hmm.
not chopped up or diced like the meat is in a lot of taco stands. The tortillas are handmade right next to the grill, which is obviously impressive. A woman is forming them into balls, pressing them, and throwing them right on the grill,
Hmm.
fresh, couldn't be fresher.
Yep.
The tacos came out with limes, and so we added some salsa to each plate and got out of the way.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I like this kind of meat, honestly. It's like our charlic skirt steak is in Mexico, chunks of meat, but we had a hard time differentiating the meat from each
Hmm.
other. Um, and especially by taste, I mean, it was like we got two different things. There was pork, which was obviously a little different, and then beef, and the beef all to me seemed like the same. It was good. I don't mean to dump on it, but there wasn't really much differentiation. And the two toppings, even with the lime, The whole thing was just not particularly notable. I don't understand how this place was recognized the way it was.
I would say I probably liked it a little bit more. I thought the food itself was excellent. And of course, the handmade tortillas are excellent. The people are
Mhm.
friendly every step of the way, real nice. It wasn't expensive. I mean, God, we spent less than $20 on our whole meal, including two waters. I mean, we spent more
Yeah.
than that on a single glass of wine at Quintanilla.
Yeah. I mean, but that would be true of any taco stand, right?
Yes,
And
yes.
we both sort of wondered how this place, which, was fine. I mean, it was fine, right? Was somehow singled out by the Michelin Guide. It doesn't make a lot of sense. We were standing between the clothing racks of the place next door. There's people all milling around. It got really busy. It wasn't it wasn't a very good dining experience, I guess.
Yes, yeah. Um, I guess the thing that raises questions for me is just that there are so many family-owned taco stands in Mexico
Hmm.
City. They've been around for generations. They're mostly unknown outside of their neighborhoods. They offer excellent food, and they tend to have more choices in types of tacos and in types of toppings. And they're everywhere. So
Yeah,
it's not clear, it wasn't clear what makes this place Michelin star worthy.
it was definitely Michigan star worthy.
Yeah.
I mean, we know people that own restaurants, and we learned from one of them that this initial Michelin ranking kind of happened really quickly. It just was impromptu. They showed up. They did, it happened really quickly, and apparently they relied on a handful of local experts to find the places that they were going to rate. And it just feels like they were just favorite places of those guys. Like that, it didn't really. This one doesn't make a lot of sense in
Mhm.
particular.
Yeah. I mean, I would say if you're in that neighborhood or near it
Hmm.
for some other reason, why not check it out, especially if you're there at a time, you know, early on the lunch side or a time that isn't super, super busy.
Hmm.
But I wouldn't drive or travel 20 or 30 minutes to this place because there's so many other good places, and I sure would not wait in a super
No.
long line for this. There's just too many other good options. I mean, just in our neighborhood in Roma Norte, there are several street taco stands just a block away,
Yeah.
and they all have a lot more choices than than this place does.
Yeah. A block away in multiple directions, actually.
Yes.
So to make up for this, our next review will cover another taco stand that the Michelin Guide also included in their rankings. And this one is closer to us, but more importantly, it really does deserve the attention. So we'll look at that one next. It's a lot better.
Yeah.
But thank you so much for watching. We hope you found this to be useful. We'll make another video soon, and we'll see you again.
Thank you. Bye.